I'm Leigh Bullington, and today we're going to be making roasted sweet potato soup. And today I have with me Danielle Watson. Danielle, introduce yourself and tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Danielle Watson. I'm the Family Consumer Science Agent in Cleveland County, and I'm happy to be here.
And this is a roasted sweet potato soup.
Yes.
So roasting those sweet potatoes really brings out that flavor, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it brings a great aroma into the place.
Right.
So after we dice our sweet potatoes, we're going to roast them. So we put those in the pan, and then we coat them in olive oil.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that after I put my gloves on.
Okay. Yeah, putting those gloves on that way, that helps with our food safety and everything, doesn't
That's
it?
right. Yes,
and
to
preheated
425 degrees.
Okay, about 425 degrees.
Yes, ma'am.
And just on a large roasting pan or baking sheet. Okay.
Also, when I chop these sweet potatoes, I cut them into quarter chunks, just to make sure that when roasting, they're roasting evenly, and at the same time, they'll be done all at the same time.
Right. So, and we don't want them to make sure that we don't have some burnt ones in there, do we?
And if you have some burnt ones, I mean, that's typical to happen. You can remove those.
Okay. So you can just toss those off if we
Yes,
if we
ma'am.
happen to get some that's a little too brown.
Right.
Okay. Great. Okay. Well, those look great.
Yeah. And so after we toss these, you'll place these into the oven on your 425, and you'll put them in there. I set a timer for about 40 or 45 minutes.
Okay, so I was wondering about how long, about 40 or 45 minutes.
Yes,
and they
ma'am.
should be all cooked really nice and soft, ready to go into our soup mixture.
Really tender. Yes,
Great.
ma'am.
All right, so you ready to take them to the oven?
I'm ready to take them to the oven.
All right, let's go to the oven.
Okay.
So after roasting the sweet potatoes a little while, you go into it, 15, 20 minutes after that's been roasted about that long, then we're going to start cooking our pancetta. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct?
We're going to cook our pancetta in the pot.
All right, so let's get that started.
You're just going to toss this in and put that about on medium heat.
Okay. And so, pancetta, that's kind of an unusual thing that we don't have that a lot. So it's really, it's an Italian like bacon,
Yes,
is that
ma'am.
right? And my understanding is that it's a whole lot like bacon in the fact that it is cured, but it's salt cured and it's not smoked. So it doesn't
Right.
have that smoky taste that a bacon has.
Right.
But if we don't have pancetta, I live in a pretty rural part of the state, and I may not be able to find pancetta at my grocery store. So a substitute would be, we could use bacon. What are some other things that maybe we could substitute?
Like you said, we could use bacon. I don't know.
Maybe some Canadian bacon?
Yeah.
That would make it really lean though, wouldn't it? So while this has a pretty high fat content, which is what we're wanting to render that fat out of it so that we can, again, saute our veggies with it.
Right.
Right, so, and then we're going to use the rest of it kind of as a garnish.
Right. People would think a sweet potato soup would be would be sweet.
Right.
Instead, this one is going to be savory.
Really savory.
Right.
Well, sweet potatoes, the nutritional value of sweet potatoes are awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
They're just packed full of beta carotene,
They have potassium,
potassium.
magnesium.
Yeah.
They have a lot of great things in them.
And
for your
the
health.
fiber in sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
So it makes it really a very healthy soup. Sometimes our soups are maybe not quite as healthy because we don't have all those nutrients in there.
Right.
But this is going to have all those carrots in it and everything too. So it's really going to have a lot of vitamin C to it.
Right.
A very healthy dish. Ooh, yum. And I think we altered this recipe again to be more healthy. The original recipe, I believe, called for like 6 or 8 ounces of pancetta, and we really just don't have to have that much.
That's
and
right.
This is really going to limit the fat content of this soup and make it a healthier soup by cutting out some of that, yet still giving it that good flavor.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's great. All right, so now what do we put in there? Next we put the butter in there and start sauteing our veggies. Is that what goes next?
No, the butter has already gone in there.
Oh, okay, with the pancetta. All
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
well, I am so sorry. So then we're just ready to put the veggies in, is
Yes,
that right?
ma'am. So we're going to put our 1 cup of each vegetable in.
Okay.
Here. So we have 1 cup of carrots,
All right,
1 cup of celery,
great. Listen to it sizzle.
and 1 cup of chopped onions.
Okay.
I love onions.
And those are white. That's a white onion, is
This
that
is the
right?
white onion, yes, ma'am.
Great.
And then we're just going to give this a toss.
Okay. So we need to cook that, what, 3 or 4 minutes? Just to kind of get them to be tender.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so that when we start blending it, it's all going to blend nice and smooth and not have big pieces or chunks in our soup. We want a nice, creamy, smooth soup.
Right.
Okay. That's going to be great. Look how pretty it is already.
It is, all those colors. And we eat our colors around here.
We do. You know, the more colors it is, usually the more nutritional benefit that we can see from it. Yeah.
And after this, we add our chicken broth.
Okay. Have we put the garlic in? Did we add the garlic yet?
No, ma'am, not yet.
I love the smell of some cooking garlic. Add that with onion and garlic. Man, it's right up my alley.
You can already begin to smell the savory.
All right, so then the recipe says that we need to stir in the rest of those spices. So those are our salt and our pepper.
Okay. And how much salt is this, Miss Leigh?
I think it's about a half a teaspoon, so it's not a lot of salt there. So, you know, we don't need to add a lot of extra sodium because the pancetta had so much sodium in it. So there's no point in adding a lot of extra sodium to it. And then that's about a half a teaspoon of black pepper.
Okay.
Yeah. And then about a half teaspoon of smoked paprika.
Smoked paprika.
Yum. And also, I think it's about a half teaspoon of allspice.
Allspice?
That's gonna smell good.
Yes.
You know, that's got all that, things like nutmeg and all that all mixed in with it. And that is our ginger in it, our ground ginger. So that's about 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground ginger.
Okay.
All right.
And now we're just gonna
mix those all up. Again, Danielle, that smells so good. So then, once we get those all mixed up and combined really well, we're going to add to it our roasted sweet potatoes.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so there's those, and you roasted those perfectly. They're not too brown, but they're still like fork tender, is that right?
Right,
So
they're fork
we
tender.
want them to make sure they're soft enough. Great. And now we're going to add the liquid to it, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
5 cups of chicken broth.
5 cups of unsalted chicken broth.
That's right.
Very good. And we also put some milk in it, don't we? And
2
we're
cups.
using 2 cups of 1%. Again, that 1% to cut the fat. There goes the chicken broth. That's 4 cups.
That's 4 cups.
And so we need 1 more cup. And there's our other cup, our 5th cup of the chicken broth. Just give it a little stir. Great. And now,
we're
we
gonna add our
the milk? And that's really going to give it a nice creamy consistency too.
Right.
And so then we're going to put the lid on it and let it cook about 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
We're going to let it simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then after that, we will mix it and make it a soup.
So we simmered it for what? 15, 20 minutes? Yeah. And then how did we really know that it was ready to take off the heat?
So while stirring it, we could tell that the vegetables begin to become very tender.
Okay.
So it was time to blend it.
We want them really tender because if they're not, it won't puree correctly. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So are we ready to puree it then?
Yes. Now we're going to blend it with our handheld blender.
Okay. Yes. And this is going to make it really creamy smooth.
Yes.
That's amazing. Oh on a sweet potato farm. Is that right? Or your family? They
Well,
have
I'm from
sweet
Little
potatoes?
Rock, but my family is known for being a sweet potato family.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. We
Where?
have a family that is in Phillips County,
Yeah.
which is in Rondo, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Our Williams family farm has been passed down for 4 generations.
4 generations you've
Yes,
been
ma'am.
growing sweet potatoes.
Yes.
So Danielle, how would you store this soup if you wanted to keep it?
You can store this soup in an airtight container,
Yeah.
and it stores up to at least 3 months.
Oh, so you could prepare it in advance and have it in the freezer and just be ready to
And just pop
it out
That's
and
right.
defrost it and go with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, sweet potatoes is a year-round vegetable, so you don't just have to cook this dish during the fall or the winter. It's a soup for any time.
Anytime. So you're right. We do have sweet potatoes year round now.
You can see that it's creamy,
Right.
and all the chunks are mostly gone.
Okay.
So we're about ready.
All right. Over there. What do you think? You think we want to try some?
Yeah, you want to try some?
Yeah. How about
Yeah.
let's do that?
Okay. I think it's going to taste really good.
You think? So a serving of this soup, it's pretty rich, and so it's about a cup is about the serving size that we recommend on this.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what we did the analysis for and everything. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank
And if you
ma'am.
want, you can add some of that pancetta to the top. of it.
Okay, so I can use some of that as kind of a garnish on it. All right. Mmm. That's really, truly
Really good.
Arkansas, homegrown and homemade, isn't it?
That's right.
That's exactly right. Homegrown and homemade from Arkansas sweet potatoes.
Arkansas sweet potatoes.
Of the day.
Yes, so